Another disappointing example of Bernie's centrism. He's unfortunately the white moderate that MLK warned us about, so link this down below. Bernie Sanders says tone down the rhetoric on Israel's crimes, and if anything, as Ali Abumina points out in this article, the rhetoric needs to be toned up. It is a settler colonial apartheid regime. They are continuing to perpetuate a genocide against the Palestinian people, and Bernie should have said no. Like it's accurate to call them an apartheid regime. In fact, they're actually committing genocide against the Palestinian people. Instead, no, he said we need to tone down the rhetoric. I mean, Jesus Christ. Again, he's the white, one of the white moderates that MLK warned us about. Over 11 days, more than 240 Palestinians were killed, including more than 60 children, and 2,000 others were injured. So why the fuck would we need to tone down the rhetoric when that is what this settler colonial apartheid regime is continuing to perpetuate against the Palestinians? In the occupied West Bank, almost 30 families are mourning loved ones killed by occupation forces just during the past 2 weeks. And within Israel, Palestinian citizens faced organized pogroms by Jewish Israeli mobs backed by authorities. Again, the rhetoric needs to be toned up, not toned down, Bernie Sanders. I mean, Jesus Christ. Just look at those pictures. Just sheer and utter destruction. But Senator Sanders, the supposed standard bearer of U.S. progressives, wants Palestinians and their supporters to make a little bit less fuss. Decades after Palestinians first accurately described Israel as an apartheid state, such mainstream human rights orgs as Israel's B'Tselem, New York-based Human Rights Watch, have in recent months reached the same conclusion. Again, can't speak to B'Tselem, but Human Rights Watch is not some radical progressive organization. They are very centrist and moderate, and oftentimes are on the wrong side of history on this issue. But it really goes to show how just egregious the crimes of the Israeli state are for Human Rights Watch to accurately label Israel as an apartheid regime. Yeah, and then Sanders goes on to face the nation and says, we need to tone down this rhetoric. It's too much at this point. Let's see. And then, Bernie didn't challenge the language and insisted we, have to stand up to them. As significant as what Sanders said is what he failed to say. Nowhere did he criticize Zionism, Israel's racist state ideology, nor did he call for effective popular solidarity with Palestinians by endorsing and promoting BDS, the Boycott, Divestment, and Sanction movement, modeled on the global campaign that helped end apartheid in the other apartheid state, former state, South Africa. Indeed, Sanders is on record opposing BDS. He did not demand that the Biden admin drop its opposition to the ICC's investigation of war crimes in the West Bank and Gaza Strip. Instead, the senator sought to shield Israel from criticism by deflecting the blame onto its current government when it's been like this through its fucking entire history. It's literally founded on the ethnic cleansing of the Palestinian people, for fuck's sake. Jesus Christ. Here we go. Every Israeli government of every political stripe from Zionist left to Zionist right has been racist since the state was founded by ethnic cleansing in 1948. But just as many liberals think that America's problem started with the election of Trump in 2016, Sanders apparently believes that Benjamin Netanyahu invented racism in Israel. White moderate. It's all in keeping with Sanders' long record of supporting Zionism, not to mention his staunch record of support of U.S. imperialism. However, the latest comments should put to rest any hope that Sanders can fundamentally change or be a real ally to Palestinians. He fucking can't, this is clear. Sanders' efforts to police and tone down the language that accurately, again, it's fucking accurate, describes Israel's crimes, brings to mind the archetypal white moderate so eloquently described by MLK Jr.'s 1963 letter from Birmingham jail. And I won't read the whole thing, but the white moderate who is more devoted to order than justice, who prefers a negative peace, which is the absence of tension, to a positive peace, which is the presence of justice, who constantly says, I agree with you, the goal you seek, but I cannot agree with you, the methods of direct action. So it is with Sanders' lukewarm support of Palestinians. Just like the white moderate who condemns segregation, Sanders does acknowledge some of the wrongs perpetuated by Israel. On Face the Nation, for example, he stated that in the recent attack on Gaza, Israel killed 64 children and destroyed a large part of the infrastructure of Gaza in a community that has already been one of the most inhabitable territories in the world. So again, why would that rhetoric need to be toned down? I mean, he points it out right there. They killed 64 fucking children. The U.S. has got to be heading the world and bringing people together, not simply supplying weapons to kill children in Gaza. Well, then he should be obviously calling for the dismantling of the U.S. empire. And effective measures. Sanders has put forward a resolution to block $735 million in further sales of precision-guided bombs from U.S. to Israel. Again, this is being done under a Democrat, under Biden. But yeah, we all had to, buckle up, grit our teeth, and vote for Joe Biden because he was the lesser of two evils. How's that fucking working out? I didn't vote for the piece of shit. Given that as recently as 2014, Sanders was eagerly berating and silencing his constituents for rejecting Israel's massacre of Palestinians in Gaza that year. This could be seen as progress, but really is a distraction. Sanders put forward a Senate resolution while supporting the Palestinian people struggling legitimate resistance, particularly BDS, might be seen as a building block. It's not. It's a fucking distraction. He's right. The resolution has no chance of passing while opposing and condemning all forms of Palestinian resistance, even using Israel's lobby, demonizing terminology of terrorism. Again, whatever the Palestinian people do, the people in Gaza do to resist this settler colonial apartheid regime that is perpetuating genocide, they're being occupied by this force. It's completely legal and justifiable to use whatever means necessary to repel that occupying force. It's not that fucking difficult to understand. I mean, think about it. If you were in that fucking situation, a settler colonial regime came in, displaced you from your home, put you in the world's largest open-air prison, committed genocide against you, controlled your movement, took over your home, bombed you, mowing the lawn. You would have every fucking right to resist that by whatever means necessary. It's no different with the Palestinians. Jesus. Just as he twice sheepdog left-wing voters into the corporate warmongering Dem Party, again, he endorsed fucking Biden without getting any type of concessions, and literally Biden has backtracked on almost every single thing he campaigned on. Not surprising, but what do you fucking expect, dude? I mean, Jesus Christ. Yes, this is what I'd like to leave you with. No one should listen to Bernie Sanders' advice. Do not tone it down. Tone it up. Completely agree. Shout the fucking shit from the rooftops. The Israeli government is a settler colonial regime to operating apartheid and committing genocide against the Palestinians, and that rhetoric needs to be toned up, not toned down. Don't listen to Bernie Sanders. He is the white moderate MLK warned us about. Peace, much love, free Palestine.